Hello, good evening, and welcome to my little observatory. My name is Nitsuki Subaru, and tonight I'll be taking a little walk through the night sky of January. The first day of the year, or Ganjitsu as they call it in Japan, is a special time of year. It's when we pause for a moment, look back on the year that has passed, quietly make a few resolutions, and look forward to what lies ahead. Above us, the stars move on at their own pace. They don't rush, they don't make resolutions, and they don't mind if we forget ours by February. Now, winter may be cold, but it gives us the clearest and richest night sky of the year. The air is dry, the stars are sharp, and many of the brightest stars we can see all year rise together in winter. It's also the season of some of the easiest constellations to recognize, even if this is your first time stargazing. Tonight, I hope to introduce to you some of the brightest stars in the night sky: Sirius in Canis Major, Procyon in Canis Minor, Pollux in Gemini, Capella in Auriga, Aldebaran in Taurus, and Rigel and Betelgeuse in Orion. Together, most of these stars form an asterism called the Winter Diamond, or the Winter Hexagon. We'll also see a bit of Jupiter and Saturn along the way. Let's head out and take a look at the night sky, shall we? Bundle up nice and warm, find a nice safe place to lie down, and let's get to it before the seasons change on us. We'll start off with one of the easiest constellations to recognize in the entire sky, Orion the Hunter. Orion stands out because of its bright stars and simple shape. These two bright stars here are Betelgeuse and Rigel. They mark the shoulder and the leg of the hunter. Between them is Orion's belt, made up of three bright stars in a straight line. Once you spot the belt, you can usually recognize Orion right away. Just below the belt is a small line of fainter stars known as Orion's sword. With binoculars or a small telescope, you can see a fuzzy patch here, the Orion Nebula, a region where new stars are forming. Facing Orion, we have Taurus the Bull, whose red eye Aldebaran glares at Orion. On Taurus's back is a small cluster of stars known as the Pleiades, or the Seven Sisters. In Japanese, this cluster is called Subaru. If we keep moving upward from Taurus, we come to Auriga, the charioteer. Auriga is marked by the bright star Capella. Capella is actually a system of stars rather than a single star. Because Auriga sits high in the winter sky, Capella is visible for much of the night, making it a reliable landmark, or sky mark. From Capella in Auriga, if we shift our gaze slightly to the east, we come to the Gemini twins. Gemini is marked by two bright stars, Castor and Pollux, which represent the heads of the twins. Of the two, Pollux is slightly brighter and has a warm orange color, while Castor appears whiter. From Gemini, we move downward towards the horizon. We come to the two dog constellations. First is Canis Minor, the lesser dog. It's marked by the bright star Procyon, which forms a small, simple constellation. They might be small, but they are one of Orion's faithful companions. Continuing further downward, we come to Canis Major, the greater dog, the other one of Orion's companions. This constellation is easy to spot because it contains Sirius, the brightest star in the night sky. Canis Minor and Canis Major follow Orion across the night sky, and they've been keeping pace with him all winter. Together with Orion, they form another asterism, the Winter Triangle. Running through Orion and Taurus is the faint band of the Milky Way. In winter, we're looking outward from the galaxy, so it's fainter than the summer Milky Way, but still rich in star clusters. And that concludes our quick tour of the winter sky. A few bright stars, a few simple patterns, some reliable landmarks so you could come back to on your own. It's getting cold, so let's head back inside and take a look at what's happening in the sky this January. The first event I'd like to highlight is a conjunction between the Moon and Jupiter on January 4th. A conjunction simply means that the two objects appear close together in the sky. They're not actually close in space. Jupiter's still pretty far away, but from our point of view, they make a nice pairing. The next event is the Quadrantids meteor shower, also on the 4th. Unlike many meteor showers, the Quadrantids have a very short peak, lasting only a few hours. But during the time, they can produce dozens of meteors per hour under dark skies. This time, the peak is around 6 a.m. on January 4th. The shower gets its name from an old constellation, Quadrans Muralis, or the Meteor Quadrant. It no longer appears on modern star charts, but its name lives on through the meteor showers. Another event to watch for in January is the occultation of Regulus by the Moon on January 7th. As the Moon moves across the sky, Regulus will suddenly vanish behind the Moon's edge and then reappear sometime later on the other side. Because the Moon has no atmosphere, this disappearance is abrupt. One moment the star is there, and the next, gone. It's one of the few times the Moon reminds us that it's moving faster than the stars. On January 10, we have Jupiter at opposition. Essentially, the Sun, Earth, and Jupiter line up in a straight line. Because of this alignment, Jupiter rises at sunset, reaches its highest point around midnight, and sets at sunrise, making it visible throughout the entire night. Even with a good pair of binoculars, we can usually see the four Galilean moons, Io, Europa, Ganymede, and Callisto. If there's one time of year to really spend with Jupiter, this is it. The planet isn't doing anything dramatic, it's just perfectly placed. The new moon of January is on the 19th. While it may seem like nothing is happening, this is actually one of the best times for stargazing. With no moonlight washing out the sky, faint stars in the Milky Way become easier to see. Lastly, on the 23rd, the Moon and Saturn meet in a close conjunction. On this night, the Moon passes near Saturn in the sky. Nothing dramatic, they simply share the same region of the sky for a while. Winter nights might be cold, but the skies feel especially clear and steady this time of year. Bright stars, familiar constellations, and quiet planetary meetings remind us that not everything needs to change all at once. Whether you manage to spot a constellation, a planet, or just a patch of dark sky, that's already enough. Sometimes simply looking up is the whole point. So as January begins, I hope you find a moment to step outside, breathe in the cold air, and spend a little time under the stars. Thank you for spending this moment with me. Rest easy, and I wish you all clear skies, calm nights, and a very good new year.